Here we go. Yeah. It's time to listen up because this show's about to get you right. Settle in cause you be tuning into a jiu-jitsu life. Getting to the nitty and gritty of what the game's about. What it's really like when you get paid to fight and train for bouts. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it on louder. About to drop some knowledge, yo, it's Dominguez, Shawn, Fowler. About to give it to you straight, y'all, no filler. Pulling no punches, really couldn't get no realer. I'm a flow spiller, recognize that no one's illa. Keep it locked right on this episode because it's gonna be killer. Elite technique with the flows to get you hyped. I thought you knew with Shawn and Drew, the crew of a jiu-jitsu life.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Shawn Fowler, 5 Grappling. We are in 5365 Studios, and with my co-host here today for Jiu-Jitsu Life, Drew Dominguez. What's up?
Good day, man.
And we're here, sitting here with none other than Atos black belt Kristian Woodmansee. What's going on, man?
What's up? Nothing.
How's everything with you?
It's good, man. Can't complain. Living the life, you know.
Here for Fight to Win this weekend here in San Diego.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Saturday. Good day.
Who are you fighting this weekend?
Ron Henderson.
Ron Henderson. Check that.
Yes, sir. For a belt.
Yeah.
Leaning just a little bit tighter than that, you'll be good. All right, and it's for a belt too, right?
Yeah, the 125.
Nice.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so you just moved out to Philly. It's been about a year now, right?
Closer to 3.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Well, you were
I had
in
my
Michigan
daughter,
though, but you were in
she's
Michigan
turning
for a
2
little
next
while.
month.
You were in
Yeah,
Michigan
yeah,
for a
yeah.
little while first. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
left
yeah,
San
that,
Diego for
there you
Michigan
go.
and Michigan.
Okay, there you go. So how long were you in Michigan?
A little bit under 2 years.
Okay.
2.5-ish, yeah.
How can
So-
you leave San Diego? The weather.
Man, you have no idea, man.
Man, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I was in
bro.
a dark place when I left San Diego. I had to do it. So I went somewhere colder. It was darker.
Fair enough. Okay, so
It's Canada.
you went to Philly. You opened up your own school out there.
Yep.
10,000 square feet. It's called Logic. How'd you
Yeah.
come up with the name?
Well, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of like being stereotypical. I'm not like into like certain logos and ideas and things, you know. And just trying to like, I mean, I was like diving on this thing for a while, but I mean, like in terms of like the physicalities of what the academy looks like, I was trying to build in my mind and wrote on paper for like a decade. But the name I was sitting on for a couple of years. I actually came up with it while I was like finalized it, the logo and the rest of that in Michigan, but. I like Logic for a lot of different reasons. The rapper's cool and everything else like that. But like, you know, it's Philly. I felt like, you know, I want to be something that's tough, something that's simple, something that's basic. And a lot of people obviously say that certain jiu-jitsu is more advanced than others, and I just say like, you know, it's simple. So just keep it logical.
I thought it was a phenomenal name, bro. Whenever I actually seen you launch it, I was like, whoa, Logic? Like that
It's a
makes a
different
lot of
vibe to it,
sense.
right?
Like
Yeah.
it's got a totally different vibe to it. But then also I put it together with like Mac Miller and Logic and the whole deal.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like there's so much logic that goes into jiu-jitsu. So I mean, realistically, the name just blew my mind. I thought it was really dope, and I think you know your academy's beautiful inside. I saw
Appreciate that.
pictures whenever you built it out. Obviously, I'm gonna help you do the layout, so that's a good
Yup,
thing.
yup. Great minds come together. You know?
How so 10,000 square feet? How many students you got already?
I haven't counted in a while because since we opened up the location, we've been aggressively signing up new members. We've had some people switch over. I've had some people move, relocate, and I've had some new members. But
That's always gonna happen,
yeah,
right?
I think since October 15th, probably about 60 new members. So we're probably just shy of 300 or something.
That's awesome. Congrats.
300
You really
in
deserve
3
that.
years. That's great.
No, he hasn't been open 3 years. He's only been open like a year.
Oh, okay.
It's even better.
That's
Philly needed jiu-jitsu. What's up?
Who else is out there? Do you have any
There's a lot of
competition
people out there. So I mean, I would say
Where's
like,
Jared at?
Jared's in Jenkintown,
Okay.
outside of Philly.
So it's right outside of Philly, right?
If you're on Broad Street, like Center City Broad Street, so like you go to get a Jared, it takes me like 35 minutes to get from my
Got
place
it.
to him.
Got it. Oh, and then when the weather's bad, even worse.
Yeah, it's tough, you know. But I mean, it's a very traditional, old style community of jiu-jitsu in Philly. So there's there's a Barrio affiliate. It's Maxercise.
Right, Maxercise is there.
Simone,
Yep.
Good guy.
He used to be where Zach Maxwell came from.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Zach out there still? Because I know he went
he's
home.
there. He's not training.
He's not training.
I wish
he
he was.
really
I literally
just gave it
messaged
up.
him the day I showed up, and I was like, "Please tell me that you were here."
Wow, bro. Dang.
Yeah, I love that.
I remember his dad. I remember Steve and his mom and Zach were all at there, you know, at Maxercise, and then they came to San Diego for a while, and
Yeah.
he was here for quite some time, and then he decided he just one day he woke up, he was burnt out, and he said, "I'm going home. That's it. I'm done."
Done. Yeah. I love that dude. Great dude. I like this great competitor. I looked up to him a while when I was coming up.
Right.
Yeah, so you have like there's a bunch of different affiliates. There's obviously Maxercise, which is a Gracie Kumaita. There's a Balance for Control Grease, so like old school dudes have been in the game for a while. Their academy's been there for like 20-something years, like 4 or 5 stripe black belts. But yeah, I mean, there's like there's so many really good people, all really respectful. They've just been there for a while and everything else like that. No really like active competitors that are really in Philly. So like I'm definitely like new blood, young guy. But like I obviously lived in Philly, I trained in Philly, so it's where I'm from. But I'm a new kid on the block for sure.
Nice.
Is that one of the reasons why you went to Philly to open up where?
It's actually my wife's fault. So I was actually telling him before you came in here. So like,
Blame it on her.
Yeah,
Blame it
so
on her.
you know, we wanted
Let's hope she
to.
doesn't listen to this.
My goal always from day one of jiu-jitsu was to use jiu-jitsu to be able to sustain and create a family. So like, I met my wife, fell in love. I was like, man, this girl's the one. This is what we're gonna do. And I gave her a list of places where I could have an academy where we could create a family. And she's from Michigan. She said, if I'm not gonna be with mine, I want to be with yours. So she picked Philly, and I was like, I'll take care of the rest. And that was it. So it was her pick.
Great.
I wanted her to pick somewhere else, but she didn't.
Where'd you want to go?
I had a list of like some unique places, like Copenhagen, Australia. I was actually really trying to go back to Las Vegas and open up Atos Las Vegas chapter, you know. But my wife is my rock.
There's not an Atos Las Vegas, is there? There's not.
You know?
I just thought about that. There's not one out there.
It was on my list of places, so I was like, all right, these are my spots that I would open up an academy, but there's not an Atos Vegas out there. So but she picked Philly, so that was it.
Did she take a look at your list?
She did. I gave it to her. Yeah, she was like, "This is what I'm gonna be." She made a very mother type of name. You know, like, oh, I want the baby to be my family. I want to raise her with family. And I was like, cool. So we realized later on, she's like, we should move to San Diego. Well, can't open academy in San Diego, but I get what you're saying now. But the baby's now like she'll be 2 next month, so she's kind of like, I want to go see the world, and I'll take her on like seminar tours and stuff like that. But we're in Philly now. It's too late. Spot's built.
Where's your favorite place to go? I mean, jiu-jitsu's taking you around the world, competition, seminars. Where's your favorite place to go?
I mean, I think it depends on like what I'm focused on. So like you're talking about for food, it's different than a place would be for training, it'd be different for like the people in the community, you know. But I mean, food, man, I'll go to Italy for food. I love Rome. I think the food is great. The people are great. I love like the lifestyle. You know, 10 o'clock at night, they're having a beer, they're drinking wine and having food like right on the street. So it's
We do that here too.
Yeah, but it's hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm with him, man. Overseas, it's a different gig. Like 11 to 11:30 at night, people are barely coming out. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, man. You'll be walking from one bar to the next bar, and there's a mom and their kid, and they're pushing a stroller down the street. You're like, yo, what are you doing, man? No, it's
culture, man.
It's a different culture.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Did you ever think jiu-jitsu would take you around the world and provide what it has for you? And your
No,
family?
I had no idea. I knew like the day I did jiu-jitsu, I was like, okay, this is what I'll do. And I was like transitioning from like being a professional athlete like in paintball and coming into jiu-jitsu, so it's a very awkward time and switch. But when I started doing it, I was like, this is what I'll do. But I didn't know back then, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, like jiu-jitsu is nowhere near where it is like now. Even being a brown belt, when I was teaching seminars, like brown belts weren't teaching seminars, was like, you know, only for black and stuff. But I never imagined I'd have a mega academy, you know, have lots of students, have affiliates all over the world and that type of thing. But like, man, like it's a blessing. I mean, I worked really hard to create it, but like I had no idea it would be this big, and I'm sure it's gonna get even bigger.
You just said 10 years ago the sport wasn't where it is now.
Yeah.
What do you think of where it is now?
I mean, I think it's on the right path. I think it's got a lot of room to grow. I think it's very like immature, and there's a lot of business that can be done differently, and it can be exposed differently. And talk about athletes and how they grow. You know, like I think like we're just kind of like seeing like the potential is, but I mean now like you look at the competitors. Like, the competitors now, like in terms of their character, their personality, and like their athleticism, is completely different than it was 10 years ago. You know, like so like if you win worlds this year, it's so much harder than if you did 10 years ago black belt. You know, so I mean I think it's great. I think it's growing, but like it's nowhere near where it's going to be for sure. It's just still a baby. It's nowhere near where it's going to be.
I have to ask this question. Seth posted something today about steroids in jiu-jitsu. What do you feel about that?
It's tough, man, because as a competitor, it's kind of like, I mean, I would love to take steroids, to be honest with you. I'm really small, though, you know, like, I think my frame would handle it, you know, and, I mean, I enjoy, like,
Okay, but let's just be honest. How old are you?
I just turned 32.
So you still got, like, Seth's looking at it from a perspective of older guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is,
guys that get in trouble are not the older guys.
well, You got to understand,
Maybe
like
they're just not getting caught.
they're not getting caught. That's what it is. Like, the truth be told, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Edwin Najmi posted something at Master Worlds. Okay, he stepped out on the floor. He posted something at Masters Worlds, and exactly what he said was, "Man, there's 4,000 competitors here at Masters Worlds, and all of them are absolutely jacked.
They're all on steroids.
They're all on
TRT or
TRT. Yeah, they're on
HGH.
HGH or TRT. I mean, look, I understand the concepts behind it, and I totally agree that, okay, if this was an Olympic sport, okay. Pride used to allow it.
Mhm.
Pride allowed steroids. It was wide open in the contract. We just talked about that with Ensign a while back. I remember seeing the contracts, 15 years ago, whenever it was like that. But truth be told, like, at the end of the day, I think that the technical ability beats all. I mean, I don't look, if you want to take steroids, I don't care. But you're going to have to live up to the rule set, just like if you were in the NFL, just like if you're in the NBA, just like if you're playing baseball. You know what I mean? Like, you got to live up to the rule set. So if you're going to get busted, you're going to get busted. That's all there is to it. And you're going to have to be accountable for what's going to come with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The older guys, I get it. They're just trying to stay on the mat, man. They're trying to stay young. It's the fountain of youth. I mean, I did a video a while back, you know this, and the video was talking about women and, no disrespect, but boob jobs and Botox. Botox and boob jobs, And why did I say that? I said, look, if boobs, fake boobs and tummy tucks and Botox is the fountain of youth for women, that's what TRT is for men.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it's not, you're not saying it in a foul way, but men want women to look hot at 40 and 45. Women want men to look hot at 40 and 45. You know what I mean?
Age rejuvenation.
100%. So you're sitting there and you have to look at it from two different aspects, right? Like, there's the aesthetic aspect, right? Like we were talking about earlier about aesthetics. But truth be told, like, you take those individuals and you put them out on a playing field, and the 45-year-old woman that's had a tummy tuck and she looks hot, she's got a big boob job and she's got Botox everywhere, she leaves her husband, who do you think she's going to date? A 25-year-old dude, you know what I mean? Or a 45-year-old dude that's jacked.
Yeah.
25-year-olds kind of pushing it.
Well, hey,
Dad bod's in now, though.
dad bods are in, somewhat they say. So no, I'm not with it, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, like I said, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, like I said, I have never fought or competed against somebody where I'm like, man, I would have won if he wasn't on something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I already made the technical error and be in the wrong position to feel the strength be implemented, but like, I think, like, to each their own. Do what you want to do. It's your body. You're doing it correctly or incorrectly, but it's your body. You're gonna do what you want to it. It's like a race car, Like, but I get, like, there's parameters of, like, oh, well, like, these are our requirements, and I get it, But like, that's why I love ADCC. Like, no offense, because it's like, man, like, no, like, show up and do what you need to do. But there's not somebody that literally shows up and sucks and then takes TRT or HH something and then they're good.
Everybody that comes into ADCC is jacked out of their mind, and everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see those men take their shirts off and just tear each other apart.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So by suspending Kynan for a year, he's still able to compete. So what's the point of this suspension?
Well, you can only compete outside of USADA restricted events.
Right.
Bingo. And there's nobody else that's USADA, you know what I mean? Unless he's doing like MMA.
So I'm sure he's going to make the same amount of money he made last year and the year before.
He'll make more.
He'll make more.
Yeah.
You know why?
He won.
Because truth be told, pound for pound, Seth called it actually, and I agree with his terminology behind this. Pound for pound, he is the best pound for pound gi and no gi grappler out there right now.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I everybody says, well, what about Gordon? Gordon only does no gi. I agree with that terminology too. Gordon only does no gi. Now, if he put on the gi and he was winning everything in that, then we would say pound for pound, he's the guy. But pound for pound, gi and no gi, you have to give it hats off right now to Kynan, because Kynan has been putting it on since purple belt, bro. Like purple, brown, black. He win. Period.
You're from the East Coast. You've also trained at a lot of different camps. Lloyd Irvin?
I was Lloyd Irvin, when I was there. Cyborg. So I was Fight Sports, and then I was Zenith's first adult world champion. So I was in Vegas.
And of course, Hunter.
Yes, sir.
What did you take from each one? I mean, those are huge camps. Great.
What did I take from it, jiu-jitsu wise?
Jiu-jitsu wise. Well, if you want to talk in life, jiu-jitsu.
For me, it was very important for business. I learned a lot of. I increased myself understanding the business, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. How to handle my employees, handle my staff, what I should be doing for SEO. I did all that stuff. That was very important to me. I mean, mean, there's no real secret.
And Lloyd's
you
a
know?
guru.
I was gonna say,
Lloyd's a
of
monster,
course,
you
it
know,
sounds
so,
like Lloyd.
But I mean, like, I learned a lot about people, learned a lot about character. But I mean, like, jiu-jitsu is just jiu-jitsu for me. Like, I mean, like, even now, like, no offense, like, I love Andre and I love HQ. Like, I didn't really like learn any jiu-jitsu. I just trained. You know, as a competitor, like, you just train. You know, so tries I'm like, okay, here we're going. Like, I mean, like, someone would show techniques at some point in time, but as a competitor, you're doing comp class. There's no techniques. You're just talking about concept and theory and let's kill each other. You know, so each environment's a little bit different, and the leader has a different idea of how they should lead, I guess you could say. But I just learned, you know, a couple different approaches in leadership. You know, and for me, when I left Philadelphia and I left Lloyd's to start moving around, I said I really want to deal with like the cream of the crop. So Cyborg was first, and then it was Drysdale because I thought he was a guru and a monster because of his accomplishments. And then at that point in time, the hottest thing on the block was Alto, so it was an easy switch for me. But yeah, I mean, there's like no secret, man. It's just really hard training, really like thought out, and it's like a think tank. It's the athletes helping the athletes, you know. So Andre has created a great environment that allows athletes to thrive because of the other athletes that are there and the information that's being passed around between those guys. But I mean, like, it's really hard to create a home like that, you know. And Andre's been very successful.
Was that your plan to go to Lloyd every for a little while, go see Cyborg? Is that something you planned out? Or just how things just happened?
Well, I mean, originally, no. For me, it was just like I always wanted to be around the best, you know. So, being young and training jiu-jitsu, I wasn't that young. I was immature, you know. I was like 20 years old, but
That's young.
I was young. Well, I mean, like for jiu-jitsu, I was old, and like, I mean, you talk about Lier when he gets his black belt, I get my black belt. I'm close to 30. I mean, that tournament, I was young. I mean, I was old, but for me, I just wanted to always be around the best, you know. So like, I was just kind of like, I got everything I needed from here. I'm gonna go somewhere else, got what I wanted, and left, you know. So I started to slow down in Vegas, and I was maturing, and I was getting old, and I started to win. So I thought, I'm on the right path. Is this what I want? And then I knew once I switched out, that was the last time I switched. So, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, my original approach was just like, I'm a young kid. I want to grow. I want to take over the world and build an empire. So become a leech and take as much that I can from everybody that I can, and do that on and off from that.
Who's some of the guys that you know? And I told you know, the room's always packed with
Always.
nothing but.
It doesn't matter what time of day. Yeah.
And how was Lloyd's back there when you were there?
So like my setup was kind of like a little bit more relaxed because I was in Philly. So like JT basically lived in New Jersey. He would like go to Camp Springs, but like we both trained with Jared. You know, like Jared to this day is like one of like probably the people that like molded me the most creatively, the environment that I did, like created the jiu-jitsu that I would eventually then have. But he would instill, because obviously we were affiliated and everything like that, and I would compete for Friday JGF, but like, I mean, like, it was always just like, hey, we just do reps and we train hard, you know. So depending on the level of the ceiling inside that environment, you know, you're gonna grow to that level, and it was easy. But I mean, it was nice. I still love Lloyd. I still have conversation with him. Super cool. I love all the dudes from that team, you know. And that's why another benefiting factor when I was in Vegas and people were switching from Lloyd's to Optos, you know, I got the call from JT. He's like, hey, this is what's going on. I want to keep you in the loop. You should think about coming out here. And then, yeah, cool. Like, because those guys I've been with for quite a bit. So JT's a huge influence in my jiu-jitsu and my game in terms of why you do it. So it was a no-brainer for me. But Lloyd's a monster, man. Businessman. He's a leader. He can create world-class. He's done it over and over and over again. Look at those guys. Like, he's got the results.
Were you out there with Jimmy Henderson?
He was there. So Jimmy Jaw was there. At that point in time, like, this was like right after Ryan left. It was like Jimmy Jaw, Mike Easton, JT, you had Pete O'Neill. You had the other guys that are like Andres, you know what I mean? Like, I never met Keenan until I came to San Diego. So like, I'm missing that loop. But so I left to go to Miami a little bit before, and then obviously they were doing their thing. They were growing beforehand. But yeah, I mean, all those guys are good. Jimmy Jaw's a monster.
What happened to that guy?
He's still training. He's doing his thing. Like, you know,
He bounces around from the East Coast to West Coast. I know he goes across the border
Yeah.
every now and then.
Yeah. He's a very unique individual. I have super respect for him. Like, probably, I don't know this kid's talking about, but he's great jiu-jitsu, but he's like super into just like, I guess, like life and what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, he helps people. He still trains. He does his thing. But you'll see him from place to place jumping around. But I don't know what he's doing.
He drops in a
He is actually.
every once in a
He
while.
helps down south. He helps down south with Perry and
There you go. with
Scotty. He's down south with Scotty, and Jason
The cheap-
Silva.
Cheap spots. cancer clinic.
Yes, they're doing the cancer clinic in the hospital down in TJ still. So they've been doing that now for about, I'm going to say like 5 or 6 years now.
The gentleman you used on the game is.
I don't know who that gentleman is. I can't remember his name, but
He used to be really good
Scott from OTM, old school Scott from OTM, he's
Nelson.
down there. No, yeah, Scotty Nelson is down there, and then it's Scotty and Jason Selva from Selva BJJ up in LA, Montebello, and I forget what his other academy is at, and then Jimmy and Perry are down there too as well.
Crew right there.
Yeah, just wonder what happened to Jimmy. At brown belt, I think he won everything at brown belt.
I'll tell you right now, like
He was
my
a beast.
confidence, like if Jimmy were to show up at HQ or go back to Lloyd's and do a camp for 6 or 7 months, I guarantee he would go to Worlds and people would be like, people that knew him would be like, oh shit, he's about to do some stuff. You'd see him beat some really good guys for sure. World class athlete. No joke sticks this day.
You just did a DVD with BJJ Fanatics.
Yes.
When is that coming out? What's going to be in it?
So I filmed the omoplata one with them like maybe like 3 or 4 months ago, and Zanga came into my academy and he was like, man, I love the way you teach, come film. And then I filmed it, he's like, that was a hit, let's film another one. And he like reached out to me, the timing was awful because European shoots in places. He's like, I want you to film like a beating the big guy DVD. And I was like, you want Mike in this one? I don't know. But so it's basically a deep concept understanding of fighting a bigger guy. And, you know, it's like probably like almost 3 hours of content, but he didn't tell me when it would come out or anything else like that. And just released another one of my DVDs from a different producer on the website that's coming soon, but I got all my stuff up there now.
Just keep looking out and look on the Fanatics.
Yeah, so I mean, like I don't know, they just drop things, but like they literally made a post I think yesterday, like coming soon. It was like my favorite things DVD that was just released in December, so they just got it from the people who produced it at the Fight Hub, so they're going to be releasing that soon. So I'm guessing that Beat the Big Guys DVD is not going to be out for like 2 months or something like that. It's in the pipeline.
So you brought up Mikey.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Did you guys see the video today? The interview
With Kyle?
with Kyle?
Oh, yeah.
Kyle put up 10K
10K.
for anybody that's a big guy that can come and beat Mikey.
I would happily pay $20,000 to say Andre out there.
And I think I mean, what do you think about that concept? Like, Mikey is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's absolutely amazing. But
I don't understand why Kyle's doing that.
I don't understand either because, you know, Seth actually chimed in a couple minutes later and he said, "We've offered you guys plenty of fights. Like, you turn them down all the time." So, I mean, I'm not really sure what you're looking for. You know what I mean? What changed? What exactly are you looking for as a dynamic? And we can go from there. You just got to tell me what you want, and we'll go from there.
I don't know the name of the big guy that Mikey beat.
The big one?
The big one. I don't know anything about it. He was huge.
Yeah.
But I just think if you get someone athletic, you say Nick Rodriguez is a big guy. Gordon, Andre. I think there's a few other guys that I'm sure we can name that would
Here's the thing: $10,000 to Kyle is nothing. You know, in terms of what it can create. The publicity, the potential, it's a win-win situation for Mikey. Mikey going to Euros and doing absolute, literally, if he wins one fight, it's all over. And obviously, I think he got a lightweight his first fight. Mikey is amazing at jiu-jitsu, godly at jiu-jitsu. But like from that point forward, he's a rooster weight, he's a light feather, so like he's not supposed to win, you know. So like he's got nothing to lose. So if he would have lost to that super big dude, people would have been still standing ovation. Like he deserves it anyway.
Because he put himself out there.
Of course, 100%. So $10,000. I mean, like, man, if I could increase my followers and my social media by paying $10,000 and probably make money from sponsorship for that event, like I would. It's a no-brainer. It's an investment. It's an ROI, you know. But I mean, I think in terms of, I mean, like you see Muhammad. Muhammad is very good at jiu-jitsu. It's not super technical in the sense of like how you see like guys like perhaps Keenan or Andre or some of the other guys, but like. I mean, like, Mikey did a great job. He made a couple of errors. Probably could have beaten Muhammad if you put him out there again in the game plan because he's just that intelligent. But I think it depends on like, what the kind of offer they get. But like, with him, too, like, it's always been out there. Like, hey, like, let's do this. But like, I think it's very selective. But it's intelligent. It's well thought out. Kyle's not done. So
you think he's doing it for publicity?
Yeah, I mean, it's a level up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. You know, I literally had a conversation with Mikey in the area on the side. He's just like, man, my body, like, I got beat up physically, you know. So like, I mean, like, he's into the grind. Like, maybe his goals are shifting. He's like, you know, I want to win an absolute title. Like, awesome. Like, I would really destroy the jiu-jitsu world from the inside out. So that'd be great. But
It's like the star power is just shoot through the roof.
And I feel like I literally thought like if he for some reason got like Patrick first round, I thought Patrick would like I thought Patrick would have like physically broke his leg or something.
It's kind of like what Lachlan did
Yeah.
at ADCC.
Yeah.
He was the smallest guy in there. And
It's tough though because like when you talk about like perhaps this changes from person to person, but like if you like look at me and you look at you, and let's say there's like a 60-pound difference from me to you, right? Like, but you take someone a 60-pound difference from me to them going down, like it's about percentage. Like Mikey's weight that he gave up was astronomical percentage, So like it is for Lachlan too, but like Lachlan is in terms of like the guy that's like closer you get to like 190 pounds, the better you are at absolute, right? He's like that like hybrid of speed and technique and power, like and obviously those dudes are all on steroids, so it helps out too. He beat everybody on steroids.
Jack, son, Jack.
so what do you think he did? Why did he do it?
Who?
Kyle. Why did he put that offer out there? And
I'm like him. I agree with him. It's just a publicity thing.
But you don't think someone's gonna
Somebody's gonna jump on it. Of course they are. They're gonna field all kinds of people.
But will it ever happen?
Cyborg's gonna jump in there. I can name a few guys that I guarantee will throw up their name in the hat. Victor Hugo.
Yeah,
Mergali.
Mergali.
Herbert.
But first of all, let's hold on. Let's make sure that we understand this. It's going to be a gi match. It's not going to be a no gi match.
So yeah, Nicky
Okay.
Rod's out.
So Nicky Rod is out. Gordon's out. Okay.
Actually, I can see Gordon saying, you know what, I'll put a gi on it, dude. I don't think he beat me.
He has nothing to lose, right? By putting the gi on.
Realistically, I like that idea. I don't see why not. Why not? You know what I mean? It sounds viable and it sounds like. Why not? Jump on it.
I think Kyle, like maybe 2 years ago, signed up for Worlds of Pan Ams or something. He said he was going to do super heavyweight.
Right.
I think he didn't compete at all.
No, I think he ended up bailing.
So and it's the God Jiu Jitsu as well, but it's got its own meta message underlying type of thing to it. So
Right.
I guess we'll see what happens.
What else you got?
You started on it, but I was looking at you. That's where we're going.
What you got?
But you started jiu-jitsu at a young age. You said.
I was young, but I was old for jiu-jitsu. I was 20.
If you weren't doing jiu-jitsu, what do you think would have been
Paintball.
Yeah, actually.
So this is a question. Do you still play? Do you still? Especially now.
Were you a professional paintball?
He
I
was.
was playing. Yeah. And I actually to double up. Actually, like I'm kind of like reconsidering what I'm doing now, competition-wise for jiu-jitsu. But like I actually got back into paintball again, and I'm playing semi-professional. First event that I'll be back playing is going to be in Las Vegas in March for the NXL. So, but yeah, man. But like I probably would have ended up in prison or some shit like that, just trying to out hustle somebody to become pure shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's like for me, like I just never had a regular job, so I didn't know how to do anything else. I was playing high level paintball at 13, making more money at that point in time than I bought my car in cash. I never had any worries in the world,
From paintball. Tim was a big.
Paintball has changed though. Back then, they were giving things out. Like I'd go to an event, I'd go clothes shopping for the year on my sponsors tab, and I would get markers and I'd sell them and I'd flip them and trade them. Like now, it's a completely different sport. But yeah, back then it was awesome.
Go ahead.
What is coming up for you? Are you gonna still compete? I know that we're talking about this a little bit, but are you still looking to compete at all the major events, or are you kind of taking a step back now because things have changed now dynamically, right?
100%.
One, you're a dad now.
Yeah.
You're a new husband.
Yeah.
You have a new academy, and somebody asked me, actually, some of the students asked me the other day, "Hey, professor, when are we going to see you compete? We haven't seen you do it for like 3 years."
There you go.
And I was like, "Oh man, okay." So the truth of the matter is that, and the academy's been open about, I think 8.5 years now. The first one.
Time.
Yeah, the second one is like 5 years, But the truth of the matter is that I had to shift too dynamically, okay?
100%.
Because as a competitor, you have to be extremely selfish, okay? And you can't. I guess my theory was I had to take a step back and I had to give that up for a while because I really needed to focus on my students and the growth of those. Yeah, you have to invest in your students, and they have to be able to believe that you're vested in them. And if you're not showing that you're vested in them, then you've got a problem.
100%.
Okay.
Then you don't need.
So,
Yep.
So with that being said, where's your transition now? What are you thinking? You know what I mean?
So I have this conversation. I talk about it all the time, but like, so like for me, my game plan literally was like once I realized it was IBJJF, I was like I want to be a world champion. But my process was that I needed to be a world champion to have seminars, to open up an academy, to have a successful academy, so I could have a wife and a child. Literally from the age of being 13, I was like, I want to be a dad. That was my thing. You know? So
That's dope.
the problem is that I've got all that stuff now. So why would I do more? You know, so like back as a brown belt when I didn't have a wife, I didn't have a daughter, I didn't have responsibilities. I was competing for those things. You know, so like if someone had said like, hey, you can't have those till you get your black belt world title, I probably would be killing people right now, physically beating their face off, right? Like that's how I felt like a brown, you know. But then I have a wife and I have a kid, and I'm like, man, like if I literally stop competing, like I literally already have hundreds of students, I'm gonna get hundreds more. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't have people that don't have any experience walking in like, are you Kristian Woodmansee, the world champion? They're like, oh, this is cool. Is this jiu-jitsu? They don't give a fuck if I'm a world champion.
Right.
So for me, it's just like, do I want to? Yes, but like with the level, like fighting Tyson, fighting Kyle, like where the level is at, I would literally have to do so much selfish investing that I would just not spend time with my wife and my family, number one, let alone with my own kids. I mean, with like my own students at my academy.
Right.
Like, it's just like, I already know. I know how hard I trained at HQ, and I like took third at Pans, and I did good like during my time at HQ. I'm not even training nearly a quarter of the level I was in at HQ, and I'm at black. It's unrealistic to even think that I deserve to win. So when I go out there and I'm like, man, this fucking kid trains 3 times a day. He's probably on steroids, doesn't have kids. Like, he's just focused. I'm sitting here wiping my daughter's ass, figuring out what we're going to eat for dinner later while driving my fucking $100,000 car. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want to compete. I really do, but I think that's just like who I am inside character-wise. And that's why I'm doing paintball again, to like get that itch going. But like,
Well, it takes you away from your everyday riffraff. Like, and I know that like everybody says, "Oh, but dude, you've got it made." Well, you don't understand how much effort goes in and balance to balance all these moving parts, right? And so to make all that effective, you got to take yourself out occasionally and do something else, not jiu-jitsu related. So if that's paintball, if that's walking your dogs, if that's going to the park with your dogs every day, you've got to do it. Like, there has to be an alternative. I mean, you know how many times a year we drive to LA to go watch the baseball games or the spring training or all this other stuff. Like, you got to have a balance. You got to have something else other than just your everyday grind. Yeah. Like, there has to be something more. Yeah. If you don't take that, then you're going to lose your own sanity over time.
But you've been pretty active on the fight to win circuit. So is that enough for you?
Nah, I mean, like, this is the thing is, like no offense to Ron or to Dustin or, like, some other matches. Like, I literally come to it, I'm like, I literally know when I'll win, and I know when I got to put in work, you know? Like, I mean, I don't mind fighting on Fight to Win and, like, doing, like, some camps here and there, but, like, if Seth calls me next week and he's like, dude, so now that you're the champ, like, Towson wants to fight, I want to be like, man, I don't really know. Like, I don't even know if I have the ability to put in a camp where I really feel like I am being
ready to do that, right?
I don't be like, I'll mess around and say, like, dude, like, I don't want to disrespect you and just, like, show it half-ass. Like, you know, like, you don't deserve that.
Yeah,
you know? So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. I agree with what you're saying.
I don't mind
and the thing is like,
levels,
yeah, 100%. Plus, you know, okay, if I go do Masters Worlds, I know what I have to do to go compete, man. I've been competing long, and I've been competing my whole life. But the thing is like, I know what I have to do to go compete, and if I'm not going to be on that level, there's no point in me showing that. No. Like, if I'm not doing strength and conditioning, if I'm not training 4 times a week at least, plus strength and conditioning 3 times a week, I'm selling myself short. And not only that, but I'm selling the people in that bracket short as well.
100%.
And I feel like dynamically, like last time I was going to compete a couple years ago, I broke my hand. Remember, I was ready, man. I was like, okay, I'm into this camp. Let's get it. Let's do this. And I was training. I was lifting, and boom, I broke my hand. And I was like, well, there went that. You know what I mean? And I was even thinking,
and you still do it,
wrapping my hand up and just going. You know what I mean? Like, might as well, right? I mean, how many times have I been sick at events and throwing up and everything else, and I still went out there and did it? But I got to think about the longevity. I got to think about being able to train with my students tomorrow. I got to be able to think about teaching them classes. And if I don't have grips because I blew my hand out and did more damage to my hand than just breaking the 5th metacarpal, then I'm hurting myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hurting my students. And I have 300 students between 2 schools that I have to think about on a daily basis. Like, hey, I need to be able to come into that class and teach them a class occasionally. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. and there's a theory behind what I'm saying. I'm going to release a video tomorrow, okay? So I'm very close to a lot of my students. My students, I mentor them. I mentor my teens, my kids, from young ages all the way up to high school, get them into college, you know what I mean? It's just who I am. I've always done this, okay? So the thing is, I had a parent email me she texted me last night about, it was about probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was asleep because I actually fell asleep last night because I had a throbbing headache. So
That's
I
the
fell asleep
curveball.
about 9. That's the curveball right there because I'm usually never asleep at that time. So she turns around and she sends me a message. I wake up about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I see the message. And I'm basically on fire.
From the message.
From the fire. Oh, yeah, from the message that came through. Not mad at my parent. I'm mad at the teacher, the school teacher, that wrote the message about her son to her directly. So she sent a negative message about her son. Basically, without saying he was stupid, that he's stupid.
She sent a letter to the mom.
She sent a message to the mom.
Teacher, the school teacher sent a letter to the mom saying your son.
She sent an email to the mom, basically saying your kid doesn't want to sit here. He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to work hard. He doesn't want to do anything. It's your problem. Like, you need to figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay, well. So I'm gonna cut a video tomorrow, but I want to ask your theory on this because I have a whole written out little thing here that I'm gonna go over, and it talks about, you know, Luann Johnson, the U.S. retired Marine that actually came in and started teaching kids in East Palo Alto, right outside in the hood, and Jaime Escalante that taught in East LA. You know, like, these guys were instructors and educators that went out of their way to make sure that people learned, right?
100%, yeah.
So this is the thing. Being technically sound, okay, if you have a student in the room and you have 40 students on the mat and you see that one kid struggling, what do? Because if everybody else is learning the same way, but that one student is not learning the same way, what do?
My objective as an instructor at that point in time, but as a leader, is to make sure that I have to have the ability to make sure that I can reach every single person on the mat. Doesn't matter the level, doesn't matter the age, whatever it may be. And I have to be able to manipulate and mold myself to be able to accommodate. That's my fucking job. So if I can't do it, like, and this is the thing too, there's levels to instruction too, but like,
100%.
it's never their fault because they're there to be led. So they're doing their job by being a follower, right? Like, hey, I'm here to learn, right? But like, hey, I don't get how you're teaching right now. Like, cool, then we'll do this. Like, hey, and you literally have to go failure after failure, so you figure out the right way, and then boom, then it'll hit. Like, that's just the way. And if you don't,
child
if you don't
can't
do that,
learn
it's the teacher's
the
fault.
way we teach. Maybe we should teach the way they learn.
100%.
It's a fact.
That's on the teacher. That's really on the teacher.
Well, the truth of the matter is
I would
we're
say
not
to the
we're not
teacher's parents.
well.
How she was
Well,
raised.
but okay, but let's look at it from let's look at it from the other side of the curveball, okay? Because there's two sides to this. Statistically, right, in a school year, a child spends about 900 hours in the classroom. One school year. 7,800 hours at home, statistically. So who's supposed to be the accountable teacher? It's two sides of the street.
Of course.
Parents have to work with their kids too, you know what I mean? And
Of course.
in a lot of cases, the parents are failing their kids because they let them come home. Parents are too busy themselves to do what they need to do.
You can't really say. It depends on their home life.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's
It really
gonna be
does.
different.
It really
Yeah,
does.
actually, there's no absolute answer, but there's a general idea.
Right, but which teacher should be the most accountable? It's a double-edged sword, right?
Well,
I mean,
both ways.
but it goes both ways because
She should have reworded that email.
it takes an army to raise a child.
Yeah.
Everybody touches and influences a child in a life, right?
100%.
So with that being said, we all are accountable, even if you're just in passing and you have a conversation. It's our job to connect with the child however we have to, even an adult student,
Yeah.
because not all adults learn the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A person that specializes in dyslexia can save an entire army of kids if they know what they're doing because they're educated on it. And this is my thing. If you're a teacher or an instructor that's having problems with a student and you've exhausted all avenues, you know what, man? Go ask some mentors.
100%.
Well, you're right, but
People have been there before you that know what's going
Someone's
on and how to
done it.
do it.
Someone's done it.
Exactly. Somebody's done
I just think that the teacher should have brought the parents in.
it. 100%. I agree
with
with
the
that.
kid.
Should have been going
All
about it
three-
differently.
all three of
Well,
them
and
sit
truth
there
be told,
and
he
figure it
needs to
out.
be tested. He's one of my students. I know who he is. And he's a little wild child, but you know what? I connect to him. And in an effort to connect to him, I understand that he's probably going to have some challenges. Okay? These
As
are
we-
low
as we all did
low
growing
income
up.
kids. These are low income kids. They're they're from the hood. I get it. I understand. That's why my gyms are where they're at. Okay? That's the point. So the truth be told, take some time, assess the kid, give him an IEP, because that's what he needs. He needs an IEP for individual education plans, for a little bit specialized attention, right? Little one-on-ones. And then you can't sit there and say that about the kid anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to give him an opportunity to succeed.
You're right, but I think in this case, all three people, all adults, should sit down with the child and figure it out.
I
What's
totally
the
agree with
problem?
you.
What's
Yeah,
going on?
well, it's team, like you're talking about too, like you're talking about time spent with. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days. Anybody that's involved with the molding of that child should all be on the
100%.
same page, team page. So like one little ping is off, that means the whole thing's gonna fall.
100%.
Machine.
And
So
they all
like,
should be.
but like this is the thing too. Like when I get like perhaps the teacher could be better at delivering information in a more respectable,
Right.
responsible way of like, hey, like I'm doing my best here, but I feel like I'm failing here. Can
Right.
we connect? Can we do something? But yeah, 100%. But like at the same time too, like
That probably would have been a better email.
100%.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, okay, with that being said, you got anything else? Where can everybody find you on Instagram and social media?
Just my name, Kristian Woodmansee. Fan page is the same. Instagram is the same. I'm active on all. You need to talk to me. I respond to everybody.
Your school? Go.
Logic Philly, logicphilly.com, Logic Philly on Instagram and Facebook. They're all the same.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Appreciate
yeah, man, we really appreciate you coming out here. I know you're not out here all the time, and I try to hit you up whenever you come. So I figured I already knew you were coming, and I was like, go.
Before we go, how does it end Saturday night?
I definitely. When does this come out?
You want it to go out tomorrow, or do you want to wait till
I was gonna say
till Monday?
You.
That's it. Doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I'm gonna. If you saw my last fight to win fight, I just controlled tempo the whole time. So like,
Right.
I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna control tempo the whole time, and I'm gonna look for, what kink in the armor has its weakest point. I respect Ron a lot. I know he's good. I know he's an MMA fighter as well. But like, I feel like he's gonna be fighting to not lose, and I'm gonna be fighting to win. So. It's either going to be a clinic of technical, strong passing and sweeping, everything else like that, and it'll be a unanimous decision win, or it's definitely going to end in a leg lock for one in some cases. So,
Perfect. I love it. All right, so there you have it.
straps coming from the Phillies.
Straps going home to Philly. Then he's gonna have to defend it.
It better not be too big, too, because those belts for like 195-pound dudes cannot be the same size for me.
I don't know, bro. Did you ever see the belt we got? Did
Did
you see it? Matter of fact, I put the picture up yesterday,
Recently, yeah.
and it's bigger than Mackenzie. Yeah, that thing is bigger
I
than
was looking
Mackenzie.
at it,
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if she just got small hands.
No,
or
it was,
something,
dude.
but-
It's so big. It was bigger than half her body, like literally. So, all right, with this, we'd like to come over to wrap on this show of Jiu-Jitsu Life, and congrats, man. Super proud of you for opening that academy, man. That's really a big thing, and we're gonna close this out. So, with this and all of our episodes, you can check us out at 5grappling.com. We are now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes,
YouTube,
Spreaker, you name it. Yeah, we're on all of the channels now. So anywhere we're at, podcast or live on video, you can check us out on YouTube as well. 5grappling.com, and we're out of here.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. We would like to thank our sponsors, 5 Grappling, 5365 Media, 5 Forward Foundation, 5 Superfoods and Shaved Ice Company, Hono BJJ, and the Fuji Mat Company. Without you, we are nothing. For this episode or any of our episodes, check us out at 5grappling.com. or follow us on social media at 5grappling. If you're watching this video on YouTube or listening via podcast, don't forget to click the subscribe button below. Thank you for your support. 5 Grappling. Compete, evolve. Real people, real stories, real life, 5 brand.